Hello, Cindy here. Hope you guys are doing amazing on this Thursday. And today I am going to dive into a hot topic that many women want to hear more about and, in fact, can struggle with. Have you ever been in a situation where you've been dating someone and it feels like a great connection and things seem to be going along really good, and he may spend a lot of time with you, you might text, you might talk, all those great things that happen, yet he's not actually committing to you. And he may even say things like, I can't give you a whole lot right now, or you deserve better, or you deserve someone that can give you more. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about what inspires commitment from a man. And what I want to qualify that with is, sometimes men aren't really in a place to open themselves up to commitment, depending on what's happening in their life. So you could show up as this really amazing woman, and he may not be in that place. So, and a lot of times as women, we like to make things better. So we think, well, if I show up as the perfect woman, if I show up in a way that is going to make myself irreplaceable in his eyes, and we oftentimes approach that all the wrong way, and I'll talk about that in a minute, then, he's not going to leave, or it's going to work out. And there's about a 2% chance that it'll work out if he's made up his mind that he's not in that place. Now, it kind of depends on you as well. There are different variables and there are different situations, but I can tell you, if a man tells you right up front, look, I am not in a place to have a committed relationship. Okay. So that means you've got choice. And, I think if we're focusing in on, I want to get him to change his mind, then you're actually missing all the other beautiful individuals out there that may actually be aligned with you. So that's number one. Well, it's not number one, but it's, around that point of, I feel called to share about the, what may have him resist commitment. And he may tell you too that here's where he's at. And then if you're truly serious about wanting a future with somebody, wanting a really great relationship, something that you're worthy of, I'm guessing you are because you're watching this, then this is about empowering yourself. He told you that? Oh, awesome. Okay, well, I actually don't want a boyfriend. I really want to, I'm not actually willing to be exclusive with a man until he, until he's the one that really wants a future, and whatever that looks like to you, the man that shows me that he really wants a future with me, that we have a similar vision, maybe we want to travel the world together, or raise a family, or get married, do things like that. I'm not willing to be exclusive with someone until that guy shows up. So cool. I'm glad I know where you're at, and I really enjoy the time we spend together. So when you show up that empowered to a man, he gets to make choices, and he gets to really do some gut checks around, wow, this woman knows who she is, and I could possibly lose her, right? So, okay. Gail, you're saying something, and I want you guys to ask me questions as we go along today. So I'm gonna dive into the, the three things that I mean, there are a plethora, but I'm going to hone it in onto 3 things that actually inspire him to commit. Would that help you? And let me know if, you've been in a situation where you feel like you're in a committed yet uncommitted relationship. It's, all the signs are there, yet you're in this space where he says he's not sure if he's ready to go to the next level, or he doesn't quite know what he wants, or he's just says that he's not ready, right? So Gail, I wish they would say that, but what if he says he does, but perhaps doesn't see committed the way that I see it? So this is really good. Gail's asking a question around, they want commitment, but they don't see commitment the way that you see it. Well, that's a good opportunity for communication. So what do you mean by that? How do you see commitment? What does that look like to you? I like to know, because I want to make sure that we're on a similar page. If we are committed, what does that look like? I personally wouldn't be interested in a committed relationship with somebody that didn't actually have a similar vision in life as me. There are some things that are negotiable. However, if there's not a similar vision and we actually don't inspire one another to become better versions of ourselves, I'm not interested. But you guys, this can take some time. And I think we're oftentimes, as women, we get caught up in the anxiety of, and I've done this in the past too, of, what I want, or the fear, or, what if I say the wrong thing, or, what I want, what we want, rather than actually putting your energy into taking the time to get to know them. Because the biggest mistake that I see people make, especially women, and I love you guys, I'm such a stand for women, is that we get involved with people and get all hopped up on chemistry with someone we're not even compatible with in the first place. So then I call that putting a square peg in a round hole. And that means that we're not taking the time, but we're then being conscious of, well, if he doesn't give me what I want, I really want to get married by this time because I'm on a trajectory, I want to have babies by this time, or I want to be, my window's closing down, baby. So I want to make sure that happens. But what if you actually date from a different place and not actually settle? So I'm going to talk to you guys about commitment, the 3 things that really do inspire him to want to create a future with you. And that could be the same guy that says, Gail, maybe we don't see committed the same way. It actually allows you to reevaluate and backpedal and go, okay, so maybe we don't see committed the same way. This is really interesting. Instead of getting all emotional about it, looking at, okay, so what does this look like for me? Am I able to date this man? Am I able to, continue to move forward with him and date other people? And what kind of agreements do we have around that? What feels good to you? So the pieces, so the number 1 piece, this is obvious, not so obvious. And this is one thing that will actually make women hold off from putting themselves out there. So the number 1 thing is he needs to feel some form of attraction to you. He needs to feel some form of physical and sexual attraction to you. And I'm going to put some caveats around that. There are all different females, all different shapes, all different sizes. There's all of that. What I what I hear a lot of women saying is, oh, I want to lose that extra 10 pounds, 5 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, whatever they have on them. And while I would encourage you to do that, become the best version of you and continue doing that, but don't stop your life. Get yourself out there dating. I can't tell you, you know, a man might see a woman and think, oh, wow, she's hot, and then meet you and think, oh, she's attractive, and really get to know you as an individual and not even think about the woman that he thought was hot because she doesn't actually align with him on a compatibility standpoint. He doesn't feel lit up when he talks to her. He actually feels a little bit drugged down. So so attraction doesn't just look like you looking super sexy in lingerie. Yeah, that helps. However, it's about something that's deeper than that. You know, I've said this before, women fall in love with their ears and men fall in love with their eyes. Yes, men are very visual. They also, and this is what drives commitment with them, they also want to be with somebody that they're like, I'm curious about her. I want to know more. I mean, she's attractive, but she's becoming much more attractive to me. She has many different layers to her. Men fall in love, so on this attraction level, they fall in love with authenticity. And I think authenticity is overplayed. So would it help you guys if I did a live around authenticity and actually how to show up in that capacity? So we oftentimes aren't with someone that we're compatible with because we're all hopped up on hormones. And then, so number one is attraction. But here's some key indicators to let you know that he could be a compatible fit for you. How do you feel when you're around him? Do you feel like you're constantly censoring yourself? Do you feel like you're constantly being careful? You're afraid to really share who you are? If you're like that with every guy, and if it's really hard to be authentic, feel free to direct message me because I can support you around tapping into yourself, which will help you to be more authentic and open up in a way that is vulnerable. So on that attraction level, men really like a woman that's vulnerable and not afraid to laugh at herself and be her. I have made a complete utter fool out of myself. It does not, so many times, probably every day. But it doesn't diminish who I know that I am as a woman and my value. So it's being okay with that and even being uncomfortable in the sense of, oh my gosh, I said that. I actually said that. Do you know how many men do that? I even heard a guy say to me the other day, oh my gosh, that really came out wrong. I didn't mean to say it that way. And I thought it was so cute because I can't tell you how many times I've felt that way or do that on a regular basis. But it opened up a sense of connection because I was like, oh, that's kind of cute. He's nervous. And he's like, what I really meant to say was this. And you know how we end up backpedaling. It's okay. It's not about being perfect. So 1 is attraction. 2 is I took some notes on the areas that I want to cover with you is the next one, and this is probably the most important piece, is the capacity, the ability to reach him deeply. So men actually have a deep fear of not being able to fulfill the purpose that they have on this planet. Not being able to And their purposes can be many different things. Their purposes can be, you know, even around having a successful family, or, you know, but so men actually, like we fear, not being fully understood or fully seen. And when we're caught up in fear and anxiety of what he's thinking about us and pretzeling ourselves into what we think he wants. Sorry, my phone rang, you guys, on Instagram. So when we do that, what happens is there's a missing connection. So if you take the time, sorry, you guys. If you actually take the time to get to know him and what he's passionate about, and learning about what really makes him tick. Oh my God, sorry. Might be important, but I get to call that person back in a minute once I'm done. So putting your energy into that, because what makes two different people tick are different things. You know, men, there are a lot of commonalities in men, like there are a lot of commonalities in women, but there are different things that make each of us tick in a different way. So if you can hear a man, if you can actually, you know, inquire into that, get curious about him, and does that, and figure out how to show up and support him, that's where he feels reached deeply. That's where you're actually getting into his psyche, because we all have different fears, right? We all have different things that, you know, we may or may not be able to, what do I say, feel connected, you know, connected from or around. But if you can actually dive into that instead of focusing on your own feelings and how he's showing up or not showing up, but actually building a foundation of getting to know this person through moving slower on a deeper capacity, not just, I met this man, he seems to check all the boxes, but does he really? And what drives him? How do I, you know, get deep into his psyche? And you can actually feel it when a man starts to, it's like, I see it when I'm coaching a client of mine and she starts to get, the lights come on and she starts to all of a sudden become really successful, and all of these men are wanting to have a commitment with her, and she's like, oh my gosh, I've got all these options, because there's something that clicks. And I see it in, I've seen it in men too, when they feel deeply understood and seen by you, and they feel like they can actually be vulnerable with you, which means that they need the same from you. They want to feel like you're vulnerable with them. So, because that's where the reciprocal happens. And that is truly a magical place for men. They feel safe. They actually want to commit to you. And the third, I hope that helps. And please let me know if you guys have questions, comments, or you have a situation around this. Let me know if this supports you too. You know, just write in the comments box, yes, this helps. Yes, this supports me. And if you have any deeper questions, please feel free to write them below, because I answer all of them. And if there's anything that you need some more support around on this level, feel free to direct message me on Facebook or Instagram, and let's dive deeper into your situation and support you around, you know, getting into that more in-depth way. Because, you know, a lot of times we think, oh, by the third date, we should, you know, I should know, he should know. Not necessarily. there's a foundation that gets to be built. There's a foundational level. And if you're with someone that isn't seeing you and you're not seeing them, you're missing the boat. And I can't tell you how many times I've talked to women and they'll share with me about a past relationship where in the beginning things seemed really great. And then as they were, as they really got to know each other, it was like they weren't even friends. So and then they really wanted this guy back, but they weren't really friends. So, once we uncover what's underneath that, and, men can be in these spaces where they've been in a relationship and they think it's right, but it wasn't necessarily for the right reasons. And it becomes hard and they're heartbroken because A, it wasn't really aligned to begin with, but B, because they didn't want to fail. Like we don't. We really don't want to fail. They didn't want to fail. They didn't want to lose out. And, they keep at it for that reason. Okay, so that's 2. Hope that helps. Number 3, really quick before I let you guys go. The third one is, this is more about you and your self-love. Self-love is important. And I feel like that's another overused phrase, because what does that look like? Well, it's going to look different for everyone, but putting energy into the things that make you happy, and very simply put, not obsessing about them or making him your entire world. Making him your entire world. And men can sense that when you're making him all of your priorities. If you're, and you might be in a place where you're going, gosh, Cindy, I'm in this committed relationship with him and I don't really know if we are fully aligned. There's nothing wrong with backtracking and saying, we might have actually jumped the gun here. And this is what I'm committed to. You get to look at what really aligns with you. That's why it's so important, you guys, to have your values, your qualities that are non-negotiable, and then the ones that are okay. If smoking's non-negotiable, don't date a smoker. End of story. It's, it could be anything, right, you guys? So what are the self-loving activities that you do and not give up? Could even be that you have a running date with your best girlfriend, that you guys get together for dinner once a week or once a month, and you're not switching that up. Like, you are continuing to do the things that fuel your soul, and they can see that, and you're not allowing them to get in the way. That makes them want to commit to you. You know why? Because then a man's biggest fear is that they become your whole world. That's one of their biggest fears. And their other big fear is that they can't measure up to what they really want to measure up to with you and within the relationship with you. I hope I can't even talk. I hope this helps you guys today. I also would love for you to share this with anyone that you feel could use this message today. So I'm also going to drop a link in the comments box if you feel called to get some more support. Hop on my calendar, sign up for a complimentary call, and let's move you through this energy around, what's happening for you in this area of your life. And, if that looks like you hiring a coach, myself, or somebody that really aligns with you, great. I highly recommend it because you can get to the finish line much quicker. It's why athletes do so much better, is because they have coaches. So, at any rate, I loved this conversation today. I hope it helped you. It certainly fired me up even more. I'm sending you guys so much love, and I can't wait to see you again tomorrow as I continue to dive deeper into the male psyche, the male mind, what makes him tick, and actually supporting you around creating the kind of connection that resonates within your heart. Lots of love. Have an amazing rest of your day. Goodbye.